this isn't something I talk about much, but I suppose I should. So, where to begin? If there's been anything constant in my life, it has to be track. Since I was 7, 8, I was in track. I was a sprinter jumper, and I was pretty damn good as a kid. I continued that through middle school and all the way up till high school, where I became more of a high jumper specialist and then more of a triple jumper in my junior and senior years. And I got some recognition for it, especially with my grades, scholar athlete and all that kind of stuff. Went to CCS twice, which was pretty fun, but it's something I was always pretty successful with, and it just kind of connected most of the things I did. And then in 8th grade, I started doing robotics with Team 100, which was run by the 3 major high schools in the Sequoia Union High School District: Woodside, Sequoia, and Caromont. And I mean, that was something I loved doing as a kid. I always wanted to be an inventor when I was growing up, and that was sort of my first experience with going into like the real world aspects of engineering and things like that. I mean, I played with Lego Mindstorms as a kid, and it was a lot of fun, but robotics was something else. It was really fun. I suppose also, if there's something else that's been pretty constant for me, it's guitar, just music in general. When I was growing up, my parents always played like old rock, Beatles, AC/DC, stuff like that, and I mean, it's really colored my current taste in music, but it's stuck with me for a while, and then I started learning the guitar when I was in 7th grade, I believe. Started out with an electric, easiest way to learn, but kept going on with that, and I'm doing it today. I've started performing for people, which is a big jump for me, coming from someone with a lot of performance anxiety. It's surprisingly fun. I remember one time I was just playing guitar out in the hallway at a convention, and a guy walked up to me and gave me a little note card, and it said, "You're awesome, keep it up," and that meant a lot to me. And on top of all of this, when I was in school, I took all AP classes and did pretty well, mostly A's, couple B's here and there. But in the end, I had a GPA of something like a 4.35, and that was in like the top minuscule percent of the school, and I guess that's how they decided, because our school worked a little bit differently. We had more than one valedictorian. I got to be one of them, and it was really interesting. We gave speeches and everything. I mean, I was already getting stuff for school, principal's honor roll, AP scholar with distinction, English department award, which was kind of funny because I was never a huge fan of English. But it was just something that came naturally to me, I guess. I understood what was going on. I was willing to put in the work, and it really, to be honest, wasn't much work. I mean, I never studied, which is something I will never tell my teachers, but it just kind of all made sense to me. And then when it came time, of course, I had going to college. But of the 6 or so colleges I applied to, I got accepted into UCSD and UC Davis, and I ended up choosing UC San Diego because they have a stellar record with engineering, especially in the major that I wanted to be in, biotech. Now, going from high school classes to college classes is hard enough, but you'd think AP student valedictorian, it's not just going to be a breeze, but no, it's not. It probably would have been if I'd been in a easier major or an easier school, but going to UCSD for biotechnology, I struggled, to say the least. I mean, I never kidded myself about getting all A's in college, of course not, but it was the first time I felt like I didn't know what was going on, and it was kinda scary. It definitely a first for me. First time I failed a class. At the same time, I started to get, I guess, a bit worse in terms of my mental health. I was dealing with pretty bad anxiety and depression and things like that. I mean, some of this stuff had been going on for a while, I realize now, but it started getting worse with college and a whole lot of things like that. To deal with it, I used to write things down on little note cards and in my psychology class of all classes. But it really helps to take the things in your head and put them somewhere else. Even if it's not talking to someone, even if it's just on paper, it helps a lot. I started to see the school counselors, the psychiatrists they have on campus who definitely helped me, but it was a very big part of my college experience. Not a very good one, but something that definitely is going to stick with me for a long time. Then, when I was in college, I had to take, I guess, roundedness classes, general ed classes. And the one I was always looking for was some sort of 3D animation. I loved animation. I did it in high school. I was a TA for the class, but I never found it. The closest thing I found was a very abstract one that is most of UCSD's arts. But I ended up taking a couple classes and things that really had nothing to do with my major. One of them was photography, and I started to realize that I did not like what I was doing. I was miserable in all my classes. I hated the feeling of just not understanding anything and being utterly unmotivated. But I found when I started taking my photography I only took one, I decided that maybe this just isn't what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. I thought, if I'm doing this, I'm going to be miserable. So instead, I decided I'm going to transfer somewhere else where I can do animation, because that's something I love to do. It's funny saying all this stuff. I mean, like I said, it's not something I talk about a whole lot. Not many people talk to about it. It's like taking all my life, the big important things in my life, and just kind of putting it into a box, I guess. And I suppose I'll put it somewhere and maybe bring it out every once in a while to look at, but it'll always be there.